Hello everyone, welcome to edition number 2 of Tannic Grips with Jill Mott and Britt Tracy of Henry & Son. We put a timer this time because the last take of this edition was 22 minutes, and we figured...
You gotta earn that much time with us, so ask for more.
Wink, wink.
No, we just want to make sure we're staying on top of it.
It's true. We wanted to talk about dated. Britt and I got in a conversation about things that were dated, but then were actually timeless. Mm-hmm. The first thing that came to my mind was LL Cool J.
I kind of thought about Shaggy or Mariah Carey.
I think what took up the 7 extra minutes of the time was talking about how Mariah Carey's singles in all the different time periods.
And while that's an important conversation, I think the argument is strong, and I think you'll all just agree with me and Jill, like, oh, Cool J, Mariah Carey, and Shaggy are all timeless. We don't even need it. We're down here.
So let's jump to Bordeaux. And Tannic Grips, 2 minutes, go. We wanted to talk about Bordeaux this week because Bordeaux is a topic that, I mean, what do you think of when we talk about Bordeaux?
Mm-hmm. But it is a concept that's always felt a touch inaccessible. I think, like, as you've said to me, it's like, I think soups. I think of, like, kind of these wines that are really expensive, wines that I have to maybe wait 2 hours for, or I have to wait 20 years for them to be amazing. And, like, I've had a wine that's a Bordeaux wine that's 20 years old, and I don't drink it on the regular. And I think people kind of blow it off, especially in today's more common trends, particularly with trend, the movement, just state of being that the wine world is in with an interest in natural wine. Like, we haven't seen a lot of natural wine so far from Bordeaux, which is kind of fun about today. But I don't know, what do you think about Bordeaux?
I think suits, I think inaccessible wines that, you either have like the $12 Bordeauxs that don't taste like Bordeaux and they've got as many chemicals and other non-grape derivatives as they have grapes. And then you've got the $2,000 bottles that nobody gets to taste. And I think, or hardly anybody gets to taste, right? And the times that I've had those wines, they can be really cool. And at the same time, the outlook of Bordeaux, just how wines are being made, has changed so much to accommodate for the point system in wine. To get 100-point wine, it needs to be really full-bodied, overripe. And so this producer that we wanted to focus on today is bringing the cool back to Bordeaux, like back when Bordeaux was fashionable. Now these guys, they don't call themselves natural wine makers or vignerons, but they are making natural wines. I will say that for them. They are, there are producers that are bringing things full circle in Champagne and Burgundy. It's very slow going. But here we have Maison Blanche that are making a great go of Cabernet Franc Merlot blends, the majority of the wines they make. So, I don't know, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
So they're located, you've got the left bank, which is designated to a lot of Cabernet-based wines, and then you've got the right bank, which is a lot of Merlot or Cabernet-heavy blends. And these guys, they're located in Montagne Saint-Emilion, which is just across a river from Saint-Emilion. So the vineyard property is a little bit less expensive. That said, still super expensive. I guess we'll just start here. So this is a wine that both Britt and I have in our glass. It's called Eleanor. But this is 100% Cab Franc. It's done all in concrete, so incredibly fresh. $29.99, no sulfur added, which for Bordeaux, it's like unheard of.
Yeah.
And they make this as their like vin de soif, like their wine to be like, hey, so what are you drinking? Yep, that's what they make this for. It's supposed to be really refreshing. Really, you don't find wines made like this in Bordeaux that much anymore.
Yeah.
Which is really cool that they're making it.
I mean, I've had plenty of wine from Bordeaux, probably not nearly as much as you've had the opportunities to try and actually be there, but I think I've had cheap end and I've had the nice end, I've had stuff that, it's been all over, and I've never had something like this from Bordeaux, and it's really fun, and it's definitely a wine that I would buy again and again, because it's fresh, and it's it's a thoughtful wine. As much as easy as it is to drink, it's also like it's giving me something to think about. I think we decided like the tannic grip of it is at out of the scale of 7.
We decided we thought like 10 or 5. We decided on 7.
We decided on 7. So we're at like a 3 with the tannic grip, and like how it feels on the palate, like still light.
Very unoffensive.
Very unoffensive, but still really fun and thoughtful. Like super floral on the nose and a lot of like red berry. I don't know. It's like it would be. Yeah, I don't know.
Chug it is what we're saying. It's like if you could have a food worthy, a shower worthy, and a Netflix worthy Bordeaux, all in one bottle, it would be the Eleanor.
What do you drink wine in the shower in? The vessel.
I have a guitar, little guitar stand, or like where you would hang a guitar on a wall, and I have it screwed into my
so
frame
good.
so that I can just kind of do this, and
That's
it's
amazing.
It's pretty great. I reach out, and then I do a little swirl, and I put it back in.
That's hardcore. I usually just risk it.
Just like
I mean, I'm typically a beer shower drinker, but that's just because I'm such a safe.
So revealing on addition to. It's okay.
I'm such a safe person.
One thing I wanted to say is that when we talk about these higher echelon producers, Bordeaux has been a region that has been classified since the 1800s between and all the way up to today, depending on the region. And in this area, in Bordeaux specifically, we'll just say the greater 1855 classification was based off of money, right? And sales instead of like actual just quality and blind tastings and so forth. And I, having visited the region and tasted and visited a lot of first growth, second growths, etc., these wines are way more, I guess, reflective of the region in terms of the capacity to transmit Cabernet Franc and Merlot-based Cabernet Franc blends than I would rather drink these than first growths, is what I'm saying, especially for the price. This is $29.99. The next wine, I guess this is a good segue.
Yeah.
Next wine we're going to taste is the Maison Blanche 2017. It's $34.99. And this is a blend of Cabernet Franc and Merlot. It's done for about 1.5 years, give or take the vintage, newer French oak, which Britt could maybe attest to this. Any of my friends, if you were to ask them, will Jill be talking about a new oak aged Bordeaux in the next 50 years? They would all say no. Maison Blanche has changed that. It's beautiful, it's regal, it's got a richness to it, but it's restrained at the same time. Super pretty stuff. And I don't know, if just talking about it, what would you want to eat with that?
Well, I mean, I think something that you were talking about like before is and from tasting it myself, I feel like it was just had this aliveness to it, and I think like where it had all the traditional like things that you want, like hallmarks of Bordeaux, but almost in a brighter, like more fresh facing like way. So I think that like if you can think of Bordeaux and you can think of like a lot of savory elements to it, like maybe there is some like smokiness perhaps in the leather, but like something grilled. I don't know, like some veggies.
They'll love that bitterness that grilled food offers. Which is a nice, I guess, transition to this wine, because this is all estate fruit. They're Le Colombier de la Métairie. Pardon me, je ne parle pas français très bien. I don't speak French well. That's pretty much all I know how to say, that and speaking politics. Just kidding. So he was telling us about this wine. This is also a Cab Franc Merlot blend, as is this. The reason that it's a little bit more expensive, so instead of $34.99, it's $41.99. This is all estate fruit. It's aged for just a little bit less than this. It's about 15 months in older French wood. So you get this really beautiful melange of like sprightliness with a little bit of old oak, which they coerce each other very well into an extremely drinkable package. Like you know it's Bordeaux. These taste like Bordeaux, but in a very vivid sense. Colombier de la Métairie is like the loft in the vineyard, which is kind of cool. We think that they're maybe storing implements in there, taking naps.
Just take a little doze.
That's what this is probably for. Watchtower. Anybody's going to invade your vineyard, but awesome wines. They're all biodynamic farming, sustainable farming. They were organic and biodynamic in like 9 years ago, so long before it was a talking point. All native yeast fermentations. Old school Bordeaux in a new
fever
world.
dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like the flavors for me. Like it's feel classic Bordeaux flavors, but again, like a fever dream. You know, where everything's like, oh god, everything's like so much brighter. Not terrifying. I think I'm giving the wrong. My fever dreams are still terrifying, but like like there's this like electricity and this brightness to them. That's a welcome change in my opinion. Because we were discussing, as to go back to like things we thought might be dated or outdated, but really like, again, timeless. But like these are contemporary versions of a really classic and timeless place, and timeless grapes, classic grapes like that are delicious, and like also just kind of facing forward and facing like what the markets are, how the markets are changing, and what people want, and what people are asking for, and again, just something different. But again, it's not totally a stranger. It's not like. It's not unbelievable that these are Bordeaux when you kind of break it down, but it's so exciting that they're Bordeaux.
So exciting.
Yeah, I think that's the most fun part.
Well, to one of maybe, out of the thousands of producers in Bordeaux, one of a maybe couple dozen that are making wines like this. We're lucky to have them in Minneapolis. And yeah, enjoy them. There's not a lot of them. Sometimes we order them and can't get them, and this time we ordered them and got a small amount. So
Yeah.
to Tannic Grips and to Bordeaux.
Tannic Grips to Bordeaux.
To LL Cool J, Mariah.
Sure.